You spend all spring watering, mowing, and feeding, and somehow your grass still looks tired and patchy and kind of sad? Here's the thing nobody tells you. There's probably a suffocating layer of dead material packed down between your grass and the soil, and no amount of water gets past it. That layer is called thatch, and once it grows thicker than about half an inch, it blocks oxygen, water, and fertilizer from ever reaching the roots. The fix isn't more chemicals. It's pulling that junk out with spring steel tines and slicing narrow channels into the dirt so the grass repairs itself thicker and denser. I've rounded up the 7 best electric dethatchers and scarifiers you can grab right now. All the links are sitting down in the description, so let's dive in. First up is the SunJo AJ805E, and honestly, this is the gateway machine for anyone rescuing a neglected yard for the very first time. It runs a 13-amp motor across a 15-inch path with 5 depth positions you can flip through using a single tool-free knob, so you go from gentle raking to aggressive scarifying in seconds. The Air Boost tine design pulls a genuinely shocking amount of dead material out of grass that looked perfectly fine on top, and that first pass is weirdly satisfying. The rear plastic flap over the discharge chute is the one part you'll want to treat gently, so go easy on it and you'll be fine. Picture a tired suburban lot in early spring, full of flower beds and a narrow fence gate where you need something nimble to weave around obstacles before you drop your pre-emergent. That's exactly where this thing shines, and sitting comfortably in budget territory, it pays for itself after the very first rental you didn't have to make. Now, if you'd rather have something built like a tank that you never have to baby, the Greenworks 2-in-1 flips the priorities completely. It's a 14-inch machine on a 13-amp motor, and the headline is how light it is at under 29 pounds, which means it practically pulls itself forward as the tines bite in. The real magic is hidden in the metal, stainless steel tines that simply refuse to rust, even after a damp winter in the back of the garage, while cheaper carbon tines go brittle and snap off the next season. Greenworks doesn't even include a collection bag, and they'll tell you straight up that the thatch is too light to direct into one anyway. That sounds like a downside until you realize it quietly forces you into the smartest cleanup method there is. Back that up with a 3-year warranty, which is almost unheard of at this level, and you've got the safest long-term bet on the list. Speaking of cleanup, let me save you from the single biggest frustration every one of these machines shares. The bags are a trap. Thatch expands like crazy once it's fluffed up, and a half-acre lawn can fill 20 big yard waste bags in an afternoon, so a 12-gallon receptacle clogs in seconds. The move the smartest owners make is to ditch the bag entirely, let the machine spit everything onto the lawn, then come back with a leaf blower or a bagging mower and clean it all in a fraction of the time. One guy's wife watched him empty a tiny bag every 2 minutes, told him to quit it, and cut his whole job in half. Keep that in your back pocket for every machine here. That brings us to the Wen DT1315, which brings workshop DNA to your backyard. Wen built its name on metalworking tools, and you feel it in the 13-amp motor spinning at 3,300 RPM with enough torque to drag the blades through damp, dense thatch without ever bogging down. The standout feature is automatic overload shutdown. Hit a buried sprinkler head or a hidden rock with most budget machines, and you'll snap a drive belt or strip the gears instantly, turning the whole tool into a paperweight. This one senses the resistance spike and cuts power before anything breaks, which is a genuinely premium trick at this price. It does sing a high-pitched whine while it works, so grab some ear protection and you're golden, especially on a long session. Swapping between the 24-tine rake and the 16-blade scarifier is tool-free and smooth, so you'll actually use both instead of leaving one in the box forever. If your lawn is big, flat, and open, the Westinghouse W16 ADAC is where things get serious. This jumps up to a 15-amp motor and a 16-inch path spinning at 3,500 RPM, so it eats ground way faster and means fewer passes and fewer turns on a half-acre to full-acre lot. 20 solid steel blades cut into compacted clay like it's owed them money, which makes it phenomenal for breaking up trampled soil before a fall overseed. The feature I love most is the rare one. 3 adjustable handle angles, so tall and short operators alike can keep a straight back instead of hunching over for 2 hours. The assembly manual is a bit of a puzzle, so queue up a quick video and you'll have it together painlessly. Just ease into the depth settings, because this machine is aggressive enough to take your lawn down to the dirt if you let it. Here's the one I'd point a tech nerd toward without hesitation. The TikTown LM01 is the first machine here with a brushless motor, and that single upgrade changes everything. 13.5 amps spinning at 3,800 RPM, but because there are no carbon brushes grinding away, it runs cooler, sips electricity more efficiently, and outlasts brushed motors by years. Hit a thick wet patch where an old motor would audibly drop RPMs, and this one just electronically adjusts and holds its speed, unbothered. At around 21 pounds, it's feather-light, so steep hills and tight corners that would exhaust you with a heavy unit feel effortless. The true tool-free quick-release swaps cylinders in under 10 seconds with 0 wrenches, and little touches like a waterproof plug and a cord clip mean you're far less likely to chew through your own extension cord. The orange paint job won't be everyone's taste, but the engineering underneath is next level. For a totally different kind of person, the MZKG-AC2401 is the maneuverability king. 13-amp pure copper motor at 3,700 RPM. But the story here is the chassis. Just 27.5 pounds with oversized front wheels that glide over rough turf and climb small inclines without a fight. That pure copper wiring matters more than it sounds, since a lot of budget tools cut costs with copper-clad aluminum that overheats fast and dies young. Dual safety switches keep curious kids from accidentally firing up the blades too, which is a nice bit of peace of mind in a family yard. If you've got a small sloped yard, limited garage space, and you don't want to wrestle a heavy beast around delicate garden beds, this is your match. Treat it gently on the roughest ground and it'll reward you for years. And then there's the heavyweight champ, the Bukoto WR5028, which makes no apologies for being a brute. Nearly 35 pounds of machine on a 15-amp copper motor, a 16-inch cylinder at 3,500 RPM, and sealed bearings that keep grit out of the moving parts like commercial-grade gear. Here's the counterintuitive part. All that weight is the whole point. Lighter Scarifiers bounce and buck across hard, dry soil, but this one stays planted and carves clean, dead-straight channels that are perfect for serious overseeding. It'll rip through deep moss and years of embedded thatch that would stall lesser machines without breaking a sweat. Just respect the power supply, because feeding a 15-amp motor through a thin cord is the fastest way to cook it. Use a heavy 12 or 10 gauge outdoor cord and it'll bear down through anything you throw at it. So which one's actually yours? If you want the longest lasting, coolest running machine and you love good engineering, the TikTown LM01 is the clear winner. If you just need to dethatch once a year and want the fastest payback, the SunJo AJ805E is the budget champ. For bulletproof durability and that incredible 3-year warranty, go Greenworks. If your yard is small, sloped, or tight on storage, the lightweight MZK glides where others struggle. When you're slicing into hard clay to prep a big lawn for overseeding, the Westinghouse W16 ADAC and its 15-amp muscle lead the pack, with the heavy Bukoto right behind it for the most overgrown, neglected jobs. And whatever you pick, do future you a favor. Use a thick gauge extension cord, skip the bag, and let a leaf blower handle the mess. All the links are waiting in the description, so grab whichever one fits your yard and go give your grass room to breathe. Drop a comment telling me how bad your thatch situation really is, and I'll see you in the next one.